Hello everyone. In this episode of the Moon Podcast, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of a nap. I'll begin with the definition of nap according to the Cambridge Dictionary. Nap. Noun. A short sleep, especially during the day. That's it. It really is that simple. It has occurred to me that taking a nap is an activity that is frowned upon these days. It's viewed as lazy. It's treated with hostility. Whenever someone sees a person sleeping during the day, their instant reaction is to scorn and condemn. Why? Because they are viewed as someone who is not contributing. They're expecting to be doing something and be productive. But where did this mentality come from? That's because ever since we were children, we were told to get up early and get on with your work. Meanwhile, we're constantly bossed around by our elders, parents, and teachers alike. Hurry up! Do this, do that, not good enough. If you don't do this, you're a failure. And then, once we become adults, our bosses are the new parents and teachers who are just as demanding. This should have been finished by now. Get back to work. You, stay behind. What is this, the army? It sounds more like a totalitarian regime, doesn't it? The very thought of all this is enough to make me tired and want to take a nap. The truth is, this is toxic work culture. No matter how many hours we work, the work is still going to be there. Even after we die, there is still going to be demands that will need to be met. So what's the point of all this high-speed productivity? What's with all the rushing? Whatever the answer may be, it's actually harmful. In fact, all these high-pressure situations are bad for us. There are plenty of studies that show that long hours and long periods of stress damages our bodies and negatively affect our mental health, such as low mood, high blood pressure, tense muscles, headaches, low libido, shortness of breath, and so on. So, it is here that I call for an immediate stop to all this work culture. The solution is simple. Take a nap. Now, I'm not suggesting that everyone should go and skive off work, and I'm not telling anyone to sleep on the job. All I'm saying is that we need a nice long break in between our workday. The workdays are long enough as it is. It's worth asking your employer for a short 20-minute to a half an hour nap during the workday. It's not an issue. I mean, think about it. How many times do people have smoking breaks and tea breaks throughout the workday? Actually, the smokers cause more harm to the work environment than non-smokers. According to the Centre for Economics and Business Research, smoking costs UK businesses £8.7 billion a year. Why? That's because smokers spend less time doing their work than their non-smoking colleagues, which leads them to taking more sick leave because they are damaging their own health as well as forcing others to become passive smokers. At least Japan has taken a countermeasure against their smoking workers by giving them extra 6 days paid leave. That's a good idea. At least Japan is doing something right. Not to mention the amount of screen breaks we need to rest our eyes. Some people are allowed to go for a quick walk to get some fresh air. It all adds up in the end. Longer than that of a nap. So why not take a nap? At least we are replacing something harmful to our health, such as smoking, with something beneficial. As soon as we wake up early in the morning, we are confronted with the juggernaut of a 10-hour-long shift at our workplaces. Noisy, overcrowded public transport, a demanding boss, to-do lists, deadlines to meet, clients and customers to deal with. It all takes a heavy toll on our minds. These things are exhausting. They cause anxiety, they cause stress. Long periods of all this can negatively impact our physical health as well as our mental health. In the long term, they will add up to a burnout, which is something we must never allow. So what do? Again, the solution is simple. We take a nap. The worst thing about this repetitive routine of long and exhausting shifts is that there is nothing in the middle to look forward to. You see, in France, lunchtime is viewed as an important meal of the day. Sometimes the lunch break can take up to 2 hours. Culturally, lunchtime is a time to relax, to enjoy the food and socialize with friends and family. They took their time to prepare a meal and eat it. What they ate was something they enjoyed, prepared with love and care. Better yet, it was in the company of others, having conversations while they eat. Lunch is a leisurely activity. Today, the lunch break has been reduced to a hastily put together sandwich and a paper cup of coffee as a quick refuel for the tyrannical corporate regime. Rush to the coffee shop, queue up, rush back to the office, eat your food at your desk while you read that obligatory email, which is not even urgent, all within 1 hour. Meanwhile, a voice at the back of your head is screaming, "Get back to work! Otherwise, someone else will." Meanwhile, your colleagues are gossiping over trivial things, only to drag you into office politics and drama that is harmful to your mental health. No warmth, no love, no connection. Colleagues are not friends. If you're not sure what I mean by this, I recommend you check out my video about what makes a good friend. As you can see, all of this has nothing to do with productivity. This is all about control. Now, imagine taking a nap after a delicious filling meal. Not only do you satisfy your hunger, but you rest your mind. Let your stomach digest the food while your brain processes all the work you have done so far. Usually the best ideas came from a well-rested mind. Imagine having that meeting where you and your colleagues are brainstorming, stressing yourselves out over coming up with ideas or solutions. All right, it's time for a break. Unwind a little bit. Eventually, someone has that light bulb moment. The solution everyone has been looking for has been found. The problem has been solved. I guarantee it didn't come from sitting in that office debating whose idea is better than whom, or debating what works and what doesn't. That idea came from either after an enjoyable meal, a chat with some friends, or, more likely, a nap. That's another benefit of having a nap. You see, when you loosen your mind and allow your thoughts to wander off a little bit, before you know it, you stumble across a thought that helps you. The nap brings balance to a person's mind, body, and soul, as well as their work. This is why it is important to slow down. We need balance. This relates to what I talked about in regards to the Yin Yang in my previous video about why balance is important. Speaking of slowing down, here's something worth mentioning. One thing that forces us to slow down is when we get ill. Our body shuts down, either with a cold or flu, a cough, stomach pain, etc. And then our body needs several days off work in order to recover. These things take several days, even up to a week, and yet as soon as we get ill, the only thing generous employers can come up with is, "Fine, take a day off." Let that sink in. We are given 1 day to recover from sicknesses that take up to a week for our immune system to kill viruses. This is one of those things we urgently need to stay in bed for longer periods of time for. We cannot be ill and work at the same time. It will not be as productive and badly affects our health, making the illness worse. It's not enough to just sleep it off with just a nap. We need a long period of rest. So the next time you are ill, take the entire week off and spend it in bed. Read a book, listen to music, and drink plenty of fluids. Now, upon hearing this, I know that a lot of employers will be protesting against this idea, but let's be honest. Most employers, directors, and executives are absent most of the time anyway. So therefore, it won't make a shred of difference when a sick employee takes a week off work. A sick employee taking a week off to recover is a lot better than having a sick employee work in the office making everyone else sick and destroying the productivity of the business. No company went out of business for letting their workers take much needed time off work in order to help recover from sicknesses. So, once again, take a nap when you feel sick. We need to shake off the guilt that has been imposed upon us for taking a nap. Remember, your health comes first. Take as long as you need. After all, your health is your biggest priority. It's at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which I talked about in a previous video. Now, this is where I talk about the siesta. In Spain, they call their nap a siesta, which is a 20-minute to a half an hour nap in the middle of the day. The word siesta comes from the Latin phrase hora sexta, which means the sixth hour, referring to the sixth hour after dawn. So that makes sense. However, it's not just the Spanish who take naps during the day. I present to you my home country, Cyprus. In Cyprus, we too have an afternoon nap. After we eat our lunch, we take a nap. Afterwards, we work all the way into the night, and then we spend time with our friends and family. We may not have a word for the afternoon nap in Greek or Turkish, but we do have a phrase to describe our lifestyle. In Greek, it is as siga siga, which translates to slow slow. In Turkish, we call it yavaş yavaş, which also translates to slow slow. Now, you might be wondering, why on earth would the Spanish and the Cypriots need such a thing as a nap? Actually, there is an environmental explanation to this phenomenon. During midday, the weather gets too hot to work, so it's a lot better to take a nap and recharge during that time so that they spend the remaining hours of the day to work, often working into the night. The result is more productivity and less stress. This relates to what I talked about in a previous video about human history, where people are shaped by the world around them. Of course, northern and western regions of Europe will push back against this and claim that because their climates are not warm, so therefore they will say that there is no need for afternoon naps, nor will there be any benefits from them. As a matter of fact, Cyprus and Spain have much longer health spans, and this is due to their lifestyles. According to the Cyprus Mail, Cyprus has one of the highest life expectancies among the EU countries. The Cyprus average is 81.82 years. Meanwhile, in Spain it's 84.25 years. Unfortunately, in countries like Britain and the United States, they're lagging behind with shorter life expectancies. The UK average being 80.8 years, the USA being 79.4 years. So once again, take a nap. It's worth asking your employer and see what they think of this. But of course, the chances are they'll get angry and demand you get back to work. There is no harm in asking. Besides, it's just an idea worth pondering. Unfortunately, despite all the facts and figures and all the studies to prove the benefits of a nap, they'll probably still choose to ignore them anyway. Let's face it, we live in a time where everything is done quicker than ever before. Computers are faster, public transport is faster, we get parcels delivered to our doors faster. Hell, we can even access music and movies on our devices faster than ever. So what if the deadline is missed by 1 or 2 days? It's not a life or death situation. So what's with all the demand about getting things done quicker for? What's with the high pressure situation? Why does everything have to be done at a fast pace? The answer is none. There is no need for any of this nonsense. All this pressure actually causes more pressure, more stress, and damages our mental health. After all, our health is our biggest priority, as I talked about in my other video about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So go check it out. We need to slow down. We need to put our health first. There is nothing wrong with slowing down. If you can't nap at work, then by all means do it during the weekend. Turn off that alarm clock and let your body be refreshed. Whatever it is that needs doing will be done anyway. While we are constantly pressured into doing things to keep busy and stay positive, taking a nap is a rebellious act. So, on your next weekend, or the next time you have a day off, spend that day taking a nap. Imagine turning off that alarm clock and let your body rest naturally. You don't have to do everything at once on the same day. Every task can be broken down into smaller pieces and they can be done at a steady pace. So, give yourself a nice big lunch and eat heartily. Better yet, in the company of friends and family. Go ahead and take that nap. Funny enough, when we were babies, we had naps during the day to get that much needed sleep. Nobody has issues with that. It's a universally accepted norm. So now is the time to make taking naps during adulthood the norm. I will end this video this episode with a book recommendation called How to Be Idle by Tom Hodgkinson. This is a fascinating book to me. This book challenged my machine-like work ethic and gave me the much-needed reminder that there is more to life than work. My health, balance, and loved ones. Slowing down. So, let us take some much-needed time off work during the day and live life to the full. Thank you for listening. Take good care of yourselves.